Slack and E-Major welcome you to the My Type of Hype podcast, where we celebrate hip-hop, not just the hype.
How y'all feel out there?
Oh, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. My Type of Hype podcast, as always, with me, your boy Slack in the building, and my co-host, co-pilot. What's up, bro?
Very good, man. We're here. E-Major, My Type of Hype, the podcast that celebrates hip-hop and not just the hype. Slack, what are you saying, bro? You good?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All good, man. Can't complain.
Nice one.
Bro, like, these weeks are flying by. Like, we're at the end of April already. It's ridiculous. Like, the sun was out today. Spring is in full effect. So, man, yeah.
Coming, man.
Good. No complaints, man. So last week, we rounded off our kind of what kind of series would you call that? What we did?
I think it was probably more like a hype series, isn't it, man? To go with the name of the pod as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A hype series.
Yeah.
So he came up with an idea as there was some more talk going around about Verzuz on the timeline again. So we thought we'd have a little bit of a chat about the death of Verzuz. Question mark. So for multiple reasons, some people will say that Verzuz is dead. Some people don't care about it no more. Some people really do care about it. So we thought it might actually be a good topic to talk about.
100.
I think Verzuz had the timing was perfect, obviously, because of COVID and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think they dropped the ball, and I think we saw it coming. I think a few of us saw it coming from a mile away.
Definitely.
We'll get into that. So, bro, first off, the whole thing about Verzuz, the whole culture of battling and all that kind of stuff, it's a big thing. Like, you know, in the West Indies, the Caribbean, we've got Sunsplash and stuff like that, where, you know, the DJs will bring out their records and they'll be going at the next man. So in my mind, when I first heard about Verzuz, that was what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be one man disrespecting another man, telling him, you know, playing the biggest records. Even, you know, in dancehall culture, they will do dubs. So they will do a song over a next man's record. So you have a man dissing you over your own beats. Like, that's hard. So that kind of stuff is what I was expecting when I first heard about Verzuz. But what I got was not that. So to be honest with you, I lost interest pretty quickly because I came from that whole kind of sound clash and all that kind of stuff, and battling obviously in hip hop. So learning about Verzuz kind of wasn't what I expected it to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100.
So that was my introduction to Verzuz. What about you? How did you feel?
Well, I mean, like you said, it was the perfect timing. It was around COVID time. I like the way it organically started because I think it was just Swiss and Timbo were doing a battle in it, and it was recorded. So then obviously that kicked off, you know what I mean? There was excitement about that. And then they started doing a couple other ones, you know what I mean? And then they sort of became this official thing. So I don't remember I didn't watch the Timbaland and Swiss Beats one.
No, I didn't.
Till a little while after, But I remember when I heard about it, like you, I thought this is going to be mad, a Verzuz. But I thought it was only going to be a producer's Verzuz. So I thought it was always going to be producers. But then obviously artists started doing it and everything like that. And yeah, it was the perfect timing. It was COVID. For me, I just love when things happen organically, when they don't feel forced or, you know what I mean, to self-plug. Even with our podcast, we've told the story before. I just think it happened so organically. We weren't sitting down thinking, I want to do a podcast. Who can I do it with? But, you know, we've shared the story. It just happened so organically. And we just kind of knew, you know, this is meant to be, man. Let's do it. So it was like that for me. Just the way it was organic and it just sort of happened. I thought this is going to be a big thing, man. So I was excited. I saw the direction it was going in and I got even more excited. Like you, I came to a quick realization that it weren't battles like that. they were more like celebrations.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like artists celebrating other artists' music and that. Some battles, which we'll get into, had that feel. Coincidentally, the ones from Yard, do you know what I'm saying? They had the feel. You get me? But a lot of it just felt like a celebration of music, which in itself I didn't even mind either. It was good. It's fun. But what we thought we'd do as well for the listeners is throw out a few statistics about it as well. And obviously the thing that blew my mind, and it's actually hilarious, because when we were speaking off air about, you know, the topic for this week, we was like, has there even been that many verses? Because you kind of feel like, it kind of came and it goes, and it's like, maybe there's been about, I don't know, half a dozen or a dozen or whatever. Bro, we were saying that there's actually been, I wrote it down, 43 verses. And I'm thinking, 43? So I actually looked them all up and I'm thinking 43 battles. It don't feel like that much, but there's been loads. Obviously, some of them were specials, do you know what I mean? And celebrations of D'Angelo and different things like that. But yeah, it started in March, COVID with them two. There've been 43 to date. It was brilliant for the culture. I think it's a shame the direction it's gone in. They sold it to Trill, is it? Trill TV or something like that for a silly amount of money. And even that, I think there was some court case. I don't think they paid up straight away or something like that. It just got all messy, innit?
Right.
Really, still, damn. But yeah, so it started off good, man. I think it was brilliant for the culture. Do you know what I mean? And I think it still could have been. But the direction it went in, man, it's a shame that it's gone in. Like you said at the beginning, no one really cares about it now. You still always see it on the timeline. So to say no one cares about it, but yet we're doing a whole episode on it, shows the impact that we feel it had and should have had, could have had, and the shame really of it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, Death of Versus, man, it's a bit of a shame.
There's a few things there. The first one being there's a lot of egos at play, I think, because it could have been something disrespectful for sure. It could have been because I think Manny Fresh did a battle and he was like going at Scott Storch, whatever. People are like, why is he being so disrespectful? Because Manny Fresh comes from that culture. He comes from the DJ battles and all that kind of stuff. So that's where he was coming from. I think he even said, he was like, well, you know, in my culture, you know, the DJ comes to kill the other guy. Exactly. I'm not just coming here to play records. Do you know what I mean? So I totally understood where he was coming from. But people saying that he was being disrespectful and they didn't understand what he was doing, I totally understood what he was doing because that's what I was too. And even when RZA and Primo gearing up to their battle, I was like instigating shit on the timeline, like
exactly.
So because that was the whole thing for me, was like, these guys are gonna, you know, put their best up against each other and all that kind of stuff. But it never really happened. And I think because there's so much ego at play, some artists would have wanted to do it. They would have said, nah, or you've got to pay me X amount of money for me to do that, or whatever. What I also think should have happened is there should have been some kind of official kind of scoring system or something.
Definitely.
Like it could have been like an official winner, or the audience 100%. Who won that round, or because people who just talk and say, yeah, this tune, do you remember this song, whatever. So I think people got kind of caught up in the whole fact that it was, you know, locked down, people didn't have anything to do, and it was something to look forward to. It'd be like, this battle's happening on Friday night, so people's like, yeah, that's my Friday sorted or whatever. So that was good, that was cool. It got people through, and it was organic, like you said. People in their houses, you know what I mean. You had RZA on his decks, you had Primo on his decks.
Yeah,
that was dope. Where I think it flopped was when they started trying to make it too big, man. You had like
the stages and everything,
and then it wasn't a Versus then anymore. It was just like, and then when Timbo said that they were selling it to this company, I was like, bro, this company is not of the cult. Like, they don't care about hip hop. They just saw something that was working and they're like, all right, let's spend some money and whatever. So I think I tweeted on that same day when they announced that they were selling it. I was like, all right, that's the end of it. Because
definitely
where it was going, and then that's literally what happened. So I think there's a few missteps in there, but that's easily done because they had never done it before. So, and it wasn't something that people were planning to do. It was something that was born from a terrible situation. Do you know what I mean? No one wanted to be stuck in that. no one wanted to be unable to go outside and follow all these rules and be at risk of, you know, getting a horrible disease and everything like that. So the fact that it was born was good, and it was great for the culture, like you said, and it's something that people still talk about it now, like we said, you know,
exactly.
what I'm saying? Every day they're talking about if there was a versus this person, or 50 Cent versus Lil Wayne, who would win? So it's still on the lips of everybody. And
definitely.
Like, when Nas dropped Ether then became synonym for someone getting bodied or whatever.
Yeah.
So versus has now become what people discuss when they're talking about putting the artist against the artist. So many times I've been like, why are we still talking about versus? Like, versus is dead. It doesn't happen no more. But people still, you know what I mean, talk about it. So it's something that I think should have been, could have been bigger. I mean, it got huge, of course. But again, people are outside now. Do you know what I mean? So if people are outside, how much attention is it going to get? Because even when it first started, the numbers were quite high of viewership. As people started to get out of the house, you could see that the numbers were dwindling, and people were like, why is there only X amount of thousand people watching this one? The two greats. But it's like people are outside now, and people are excited to be outside because they haven't been able to for X amount of months. So of course they're going outside and touch the grass and smell the fresh air. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to want to be in the house watching battles. So I think for you to be invested, you've got to have some interest in hip hop. Like, a lot of people are watching it that maybe are not hip hop fans or weren't really sure about certain music, or haven't heard certain songs. But for us that have heard it all and seen all this kind of stuff, for us it was like, yeah, this is great. But the matchups had to be right too. And I think with a lot of them,
definitely.
The matchups
just them were weird. Yeah, no, 100%, man.
Why would you put Nelly against Ludacris, man? Like, that's just ridiculous, bro. Why would you put 2 Chainz against Rick Ross? Like, there was a few, DMX and Snoop. Like, that just was not a good matchup. And there's so many times you could have said, if you put Snoop in with this guy, or if you put X in with this guy, or you put Luda against Redman. Like, imagine a Luda Redman. Yeah. Instead, you put Redman and Method Man, who are flipping brothers.
A tag team anyway. Yeah.
And then you put Ray and Ghost, and then they're brothers. I just think it went in a crazy direction that it shouldn't have gone. Man. So,
do you think though, as well? One of the things I was thinking, because sometimes I was thinking, like, what was it that caused it to die? You know, and people say, it's not dead, but come on, man, it is. If we say what caused it to die, like, it is, man. Do you know what I mean? Do you think that obviously this was a free thing? If you had internet, you had Wi-Fi, you're good to go, innit? You're watching it, man. Obviously, with the time difference, there was times when but I didn't stay up, but I as everyone knows, I like an early night. You know what I mean? So I'd go to bed, set an alarm, and maybe try to wake up and watch them. Like, you know what I mean? Because I wanted to watch it fresh and not just the reruns the next day or online the next day. It was all free though. It was just for the culture. This is one of the things that you literally felt was just, you know what? We love what we do. As I've said a million times today, it's just organically blown up. Hey, man, this is just for the culture. Do you think, and this is a genuine question, do you think that Timberland and Swiss saw it as a missed opportunity by making this just as a free thing? Do you think they knew selling it to Chiller wasn't really good for the culture, but maybe they thought we need to make some money off of this?
From what they said, when they sold it, when they decided that they was going to sell it to these people, from what I read, they pretty much said, nah, it's in safe hands, don't worry about it. Because a lot of people are the same mind as me. If you sell it to these people, it's going to be a mess. But they was like, try to reassure people, like, no, we know what we're doing. It's for the culture. I think Swiss said something like that. Trust me, it's for the culture. Then what happened? So, bro, like I said at the beginning, I saw it from a mile off, and I'm pretty sure most of the people listening saw it from a mile off. As soon as you bring these people in, this Triller or whatever, like, you know what I mean? We knew what direction was going to go. So I think they might have been told or reassured and been like, bro, trust me, we're going to keep it organic. We're going to keep it this. We're going to keep it that. But at the end of the day, if you spend that amount of money buying something, what do you want to do? You want to make money, right?
Of course, man. Yeah.
The reason that it was good in the first place is because money wasn't it. That wasn't the goal. Right. It wasn't the focus. It was, we're in the house. I'm going to get Primo and I'm going to get RZA, and we're going to play some of our legendary music, and we're gonna entertain you guys. That's what it was was good about it. That was what was entertaining. But as soon as it became about money, and then you know for a fact, bro, these artists were getting called up. Do you want to do a versus? And they're like,
Yeah.
how much you gonna pay me? How much?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How much am I getting out of this? Do you know what I mean? Like, so as soon as it became that, like, look at your boy Elon Musk. He bought Twitter. Did he buy it? Did he buy it just to have, or are people now pay $8 or
right
so much pounds to have whatever? So he's bought it to make it profitable. These dudes bought it to make it profitable, and as soon as they did that, it was only going one way, bro.
Yeah, it's not about the culture anymore. It's about profit.
Right.
100%. 100%, man. It's a shame, man.
Profit. Like, let me not get it twisted. Like, you know, my business is making profit. So there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I don't do what I do for free. Like, you don't do what you do for free, and so that's totally fine. But then don't say that it's for the culture when it's clearly not. Like, I much respect people that are like, yeah, I want my money out of it. I totally respect that. But as soon as you're like, yeah, it's for the culture and all this shit, like, come on, man, we knew what was gonna happen. So yeah, it's disappointing, but at the end of the day, I'm not disappointed because I knew what direction it was heading in, and whoever was doing the booking wasn't doing a good job, in my opinion, because there was just so many people like, oh, I don't care about that, or like Dipset and Lux. I mean, when you actually look at that battle and you think, in the lead up, I was like, the Dipset haven't got no chance against these guys.
Yeah.
None. People like, yeah, Dipset this, and like, I was never the biggest fan of Dipset anyway, so you could say it might be a bit of bias on my behalf. But just looking at it objectively, like, not even being a fan of the Lux or whatever, it was like, these guys have done everything. These guys have got records with Big, and you know what I mean? These guys have got, they've done every facet of hip hop that you can possibly think of. Dipset had a moment. Lux have been around since the 96?
97, 96, 97, yeah.
Come out. But so, come on, man. Like, I just said, I tweeted it as well. I was like, this ain't gonna be close at all. Like, even if you're a fan of Dipset, fine. But let's be realistic here. And then the inevitable happened. But again, I don't think that was good booking. I think you could have put the Lux up against another group, even someone like Onyx or someone like that.
Yeah.
It could have been a better battle. So I think that was
because Onyx ended up going against Cypress Hill, innit? And I mean, that weren't a bad one, but still, like,
that's not a good match.
Who's thinking of putting Onyx with Cypress Hill? That's just
that's what I'm saying, man. Like, let's say you put Cypress Hill, the first thing that comes to my mind is Alcoholics. Like that,
right?
Those two, they're both on the West Coast. You've got 3 men in Alcoholics. You've got 3 men in Cypress Hill. That feels like a natural, organic matchup to me. Or even if you went Cypress Hill versus West Side Connection, like how crazy would that be?
That would be mad.
Trials and tribulations.
Beef for that, imagine that.
Yeah, and then you say, all right, Lux, you go up against Onyx, or you go up against MOP, or you know, some kind of 3-man group or 2-man in MOP case, but someone from the East Coast has got a very similar feel. But to put people like completely opposite, DMX and Snoop, they couldn't be more opposed in the music that they make. So people might have had fun and stuff when which is cool, but I just don't think it was a smart matchup. But you think
it was the whole dog thing they were going off of, because that was the whole selling point, in it, like the Snoop Dogg and then DMX and his dogs in it. It was the whole dog thing. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But no, there should have been. It makes you. I'm wondering though. Maybe people were ducking smoke. Do you know what I mean? Because maybe people were putting calls out. Would you battle blah blah? And they'd be like, like you said, they might have been saying how much you're going to pay me, but that's just to get out of it. Do you know what I'm saying? I definitely think there was a lot of, well, this person ain't really into it. This person's available, and that person's available. All right, let's do it. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it was like. I think it should have been approached like boxing, where yes, the scoring, as you said, definitely there should have been a pointing system. You know what I mean? But definitely should have put people in like the category and the weight classes almost. You know what I mean? Where you're not going to put, you know what I'm saying, a featherweight with a heavyweight or something like that is going to be unevenly matched. And I've probably just shown I don't know that much about boxing there, but you get what I'm saying. You get me? You're not going to put certain people because their styles, their sounds, it just don't mesh.
Style, bro. Yeah, totally agree. The styles is what would make a good versus. And that's why the best ones are the ones where the styles match. Beanie Man, Bounty Killer. Why did that work? Because Obviously, they're both dancehall artists, and you know what I mean, that they both came up in the same era, so they both have record from, you know what I mean, from however long back to up to now. Do you know what I mean? So obviously that's gonna work, and both of them come from a sound clash culture, so
Right, yeah.
that's what they're born from, and that's why people are ducking Busta, because Busta Rhymes is Jamaican.
He would not be having it. Yeah,
he comes from a sound clash culture. He would have ended up seeing that as I did, as you did, as a load of characters did. That was what happened. So yeah, man,
100%.
I think they were just looking at, I don't know what they were looking at when they were booking it, because if you're actually looking to match music and styles, there's some really obvious ones. Like when you heard Ludacris versus Nelly, like who would have said that that was a good battle? That battle makes no sense whatsoever.
Exactly. No, 100%, man.
In the games, man. Busta Rhymes versus Luda would have been good. Luda versus Redman, as I said, would have been good. So there was a few where it was just like, this is just pointless. And then, are the biggest artists in the world, are they really gonna contribute? Are they really gonna want to get involved? If you step to Eminem and go, do you want to do a verse? He's gonna be like, what? What am I gonna do a verse? Or 50 Cent, or you know what I mean? Some of the huge artists, are they really gonna?
Funny enough, I think out of those big artists, I think if anyone would have done it, it would have been Eminem. You know,
like, his yard, bro. When do you ever see Eminem doing anything apart from?
No, you don't.
Pop up, he'll do his shows. Pop up, will drop an album, and then he'll just
disappear. No, agreed. You don't. There's this enigma about him. But the reason why I say I think if anyone would have done something, because believe it or not, it's Eminem's fans that kind of put people off Eminem. But Eminem in himself, there's no denying he loves the culture, bro. Absolutely. Like he's a fan of hip hop. He's not no vulture. He's not no someone riding a wave. He loves hip hop. You see what I'm saying? And I almost imagine that if anyone was going to do something out of your Drakes, your Jay-Z's, like don't ever hold your breath to see Jay-Z or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Or I say Drake because, you know, the people who are deemed as sort of like the big hip hop mega stars or what have you. Out of all of them, it probably would. Eminem probably been the first person I'd bet money on.
I reckon if someone approached Drake, I reckon he'd be up for it. I reckon he'd be one of those kind of guys to say, yeah, I'll do it.
I don't know, man. He seems like someone who wouldn't want to venture out of a comfortable zone in the sense of he feels like he's going to be vulnerable up there. Huh?
Nah, he's an attention seeker. Like he does ridiculous shit for attention. Like a verse would be nothing for him. Like this dude was walking around with a heart in his head. He's got like he does dumb shit. So I think a verses would be like nothing for him. Would be like, yeah, I could come up with 20 tunes, no problem, and I'll smoke anyone with my catalog. So I think he would do it.
Probably only if it was someone like Wayne. He'd probably only go against someone that, you know, he feels that there's a mutual respect there for. Do you know what I'm saying?
That would actually make sense. Drake versus Wayne. That would actually make sense. Drake versus Jay, nah. Drake versus Nas, nah. Like I don't think stylistically that those kind of matchups would make sense. But yeah, I could see it like a Drake versus Wayne, Drake versus Future, someone like that. Someone that they've got like a relationship with. It wouldn't be something I would have any interest in whatsoever.
Nah, not in the slightest. Drake and Future, definitely.
Yeah. So man, maybe we should get on the case, man, and like, you know what I mean, do some bookings, because some of those ones that we saw was just
exactly, man. Listen, we can be hired, so Chile, if you're watching, man, just hit us up.
Nah,
I sort that out for you, man.
Well,
yeah, you know what I mean. Well, just give us a little money, and we'll just do something on the side for you, innit? Like,
pay up front.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. All right, then. So let's look into some of our favorites then. We'll look at 3 of our favorites, maybe, out of all of them. I doubt we've seen them all. I haven't seen them all, I know for sure, but I've definitely skimmed a few. Do you want to kick us off with one of your favorites, and I'll go next?
All right, well, the obvious, man. Dipset and the Lux was the obvious one. I think it was, what I really loved about it was, I think that was people that probably didn't listen to the Lux much, or didn't listen to Jadakiss and all that. So they were shocked by how good they were. But the people that weren't shocked, because
exactly,
I've seen them live numerous times. I'm going to see them again next month when they come to London.
Yeah, Indigo.
Yeah. So yeah, I wasn't shocked at all. And like I said before, I knew that they were going to smoke Dipset, because Dipset, they ain't got chat for long, and they could have a rematch, and the same thing will happen again. Do you know what I'm saying? So when I saw it, it was great because the energy was good, and Jadakiss proved that he's a real MC. And that's not just about Jadakiss, because it's not just about him.
100.
Sheik and Styles both did their thing too. Dipset weren't prepared. They clearly like just turned up to collect their money.
They didn't know what was going to happen, man.
They didn't have a set list. They didn't have like
Yeah.
a plan. They didn't have no game plan, nothing. It was just they thought they'll turn up and just say some shit and then go home. But lots didn't come to play, and that's some real MC shit. They came to tear heads off. That's what I really loved about
100%. Well, they did. They turned Jadakiss snatched off Santana's bandana.
Yeah, they didn't come to play, man. That's
I
what I
watched
like.
that bit back. I'm like, nah, that's fight talk, man. That's like, come on, man.
But like, that's the whole sound clash culture. That is the whole,
that's mad.
That is the culture.
Man.
It's like I'm gonna own this stage, and for you to beat me, you're gonna have to come out with some shit. And that's basically what Jadakiss was doing. He was like, in order for you, because he was like, it's good, but it's not enough. Like,
That was a good one. There's no doubt about that.
The excitement that it brought. Like, a lot of people were watching as well, and they were like, damn, this is like, that energy. Like, I think that energy is missing in hip hop nowadays. So it's good to see that energy. Like,
and it's good to see that they were cool after as well. Like,
exactly.
Like, even like, I'll go on record. People want to pull up my old tweets or what have you. I was in the complete opposite to you, bro. I knew that Lux would win, but I even went online and I was like, nah, I don't think it's going to be as easy as everyone says. Like, I didn't think it was going to be a like ridiculous whitewash like that. I knew Lux would get it, but I literally did not. Maybe because I'm a Dipset fan, I'm a Cameron fan, and like you said, it was a movement, it was a time. But I just feel like it's so hard to articulate. Me and someone was trying to talk about Cameron the other day, what we like about him. It's even hard to put Cameron in a category because it's just like, they're just almost like a whole movement to themselves. Do you know what I mean? It's like you love him or you hate him. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think Cam, the whole Dipset movement, it's just big music, man. Do you know what I mean? And I felt like they would have bangers. You know, they got so much things they could have pulled on, even more of Cam's individual features and different things. I thought they would have pulled on, but like we said, I just don't think they knew what they was walking into. I don't think they took it as seriously as Lux did, obviously. I had no idea. Clearly not. I had no idea they was going to get washed like that. But, hey, it's such and such, man. But I'd agree with you. That's one of my favorites as well. But, yeah, that was a good one, man. That was a good one. I'll throw out one of my favorites then. It would be that I did actually have that listed as well, but I've got to go with Ghost and Ray. This was definitely one of the ones I set an alarm and woke up for. I can't remember what time it was. I remember watching that live, so I didn't want to watch that the next day. Loved it. There you go, man. Everyone knows how I feel about Ghost and Ray. They're my favorite unofficial duo in hip hop, man. There's no one that has chemistry like them, like they have with each other. Even when you posted up that Older God video the other day, like, I loved that so much. It's one of my favorite Wu tracks. I know it's Jizzer as well, but just their chemistry, man. So I was very interested to see how it was going to be. And they were live tweeting and Instagramming in the run up. Ghost was there getting his shape up and just getting ready for it. And just their energy, man. Do you know what I mean? And they approached it like it was a battle. Do you know what I mean? Even though you know how much they love each other, man, but they approached it like it was a battle. They had that battle energy. They had that whole thing that we was talking about. So it seemed like it was going to be weird because, as you said, they're like brothers, innit? But they approached it with a battle. But you could just see the love, the respect they have for each other. And that's what it was. It's just like a big concert, you know what I mean? Ghost doing his outfit changes and all that stuff. You know what I mean? It was sick, man. Definitely one of my favorites. So, yeah, if we're talking favorite verses, that's definitely got to be one that jumps out for me, man. Ghost and Ray.
Yeah, although I didn't see it as a verses, but I enjoyed it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right,
It felt like a concert. It felt like seeing them at a show, just doing their material. But I was hungry for the battle energy. That's what I wanted. And not just from them. I'm talking from verses.
100.
So the one that really did kind of give me a battle kind of feel was RZA and Primo. That was like, if anything deserved a big stage, that one deserved a big stage. Because like, I think I was obviously I love RZA. Everyone knows I love RZA. But for a bit of fun, I was stoking the fires like for the whole week. I was just like, Primo should do this like at the beginning, and I put up a clip of you God like dissing RZA, saying his beats were trash and all this. Primo needs to put this at the beginning of the battle, and I was expecting this heat, but you know they respect each other so much.
Yeah,
that's fine. But what I really loved about it was both of them were just in the house, like we were all in the house, fully locked down. There was no stage like for the Locks, Dipset, and whatever. It was just them in the house playing their shit back to back, and even Riz was putting out some tunes, and I was like, oh, so it was a lot closer than I expected it to be.
Definitely,
RZA. I still thought that Primo would just have too much for him because obviously Primo's got a much longer and larger cap. Primo again,
much larger, yeah.
Brilliant. However brilliant he is, really will give him like a 4-year run, and then after 97, it kind of
agreed.
Much production and stuff anymore, but
agreed.
He's been going from what I mean, like what 80, 88, 89, whatever.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Up to now, he's still like that shit he did for Absol is crazy. So,
yes, man, got a rap.
Yeah, man. So I thought that Primo but they both killed it, and I think they both contributed to make it what it was. And the whole feel about it just felt like hip hop. Do you know what I mean? It felt like you played that, and then so I remember Primo was like, no, RZA played a Nas track, and Primo was like, oh, you got a Nas track? All right, cool. And then he played his Nas track.
Yeah,
yeah, man, that was great just to see them both doing that, man, and paying respect to each other as well. I thought that was dope.
I agree, man. I love that one. That was the only one, the first and only one that I actually had like a pen and paper and was actually scoring. So I was so intrigued to see like who's going to win this thing because that's my 1 and 2 for producers, favorite of all time. That's my 1 and 2. Do you know what I mean? Primo being 1, RZA being 2. So I'm like, man, and like you rightly said, Primo's got a much bigger catalog, but 20 songs. RZA, 20 songs for RZA is nothing. Do you know what I mean? It was only a shorter period of time, but he's going to have 20 bangers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it really depended on what was played. So, yeah, definitely. That's mad. That was down for my pick as well. But yeah, fully agree with you. So you said that one. So I'm going to go to looking at my list. I'm actually, I know we said that the matchup was a bit weird, but I'm actually going to go with DMX and Snoop. Matchup was a bit weird. Definitely not people I would have put it against each other with the whole dog concept or not. But all that put aside, the actual event was good, man. Do you know what I mean? The love, the respect. Yeah, right, exactly. You know, the what they have for each other was good to see. And Doggy Style, you know what I mean? It goes without saying how much I love that album. And It's Dark and Hell is Hot. I was about saying how much I love that album. Obviously, they've got other bangers, but these are 2 artists. You know what? And Snoop, man, we just got to give him his props because I know we always, not we as in me and you, but we as in hip hop tend to really only bang on about Doggy Style. But he's got hits for days, man. Like he's got bangers for days. Like every single album, there's bangers off those albums. Like
as well. Look at all the features.
Yeah, exactly. I was reading somewhere actually. Who was it? His name's escaped me, but someone on Twitter was saying that he's probably the most featured artist in hip hop, and he gave some statistics, numbers, and it's a crazy amount of features. He's got like well over 1,000 and them crazy amounts. You know what I mean? But yeah, he's got bangers, man. But so that was a good time. Just they were just having fun, man. It was just good to see them. They were playing hit after hit, and Snoop was like, "Oh man," when DMX would pull out certain tracks, and likewise. So yeah, that was definitely one I enjoyed, man. So that was a good one. That was an iconic one. So yeah, I'd go with that for my number 2, my second choice.
For number 3, I was gonna reach for the Jill Scott and Erykah Badu because that was dope for the ladies, and the whole energy around it. Like there was so much. Yeah, the energy was just like something crazy. It was like you're privileged to be watching it. And,
agreed. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Both of their catalogs are just another level. Both of them are amazing to me. So
yeah,
I think that was brilliant. But I'm gonna go for the Beanie Man and Bounty Killer one because obviously as a Caribbean kid growing up listening to ragga, reggae, dancehall in the house and all that kind of stuff, like that was massive to me. Like Bounty Killer,
man.
as a kid, man, like him, Ninja Man, Super Cat, all them kind of guys there, man. That was before hip hop for me. That was
true.
You know what I'm saying? That was me as a kid. So just seeing them and the energy, because I think before they did theirs, the energy was kind of tailing off a bit. People kind of like, not really feeling these matchups.
Yeah.
But then when they came, and people like, oh shit, like the energy's back. Do you know what I'm saying? And because they were able to be in the same room, so the whole thing had changed where people were like in their separate houses for the first few verses. But they were able to be in the same.
I think that was the first one, weren't it? But they're in the same place. Yeah, might have been. Yeah,
the whole energy was different because they were able to be in person, seeing each other, and all the ones previous to that were, you know, they weren't able to see each other. So the energy was amazing for that one. So yeah, I'll pick that one for my third.
Yeah, I like that, man. Agreed. Agreed. That was actually down as an honourable mention as well. That was a good one, man. And the Beanie Man memes that came after was funny as well, bro. But,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But yeah, that was an iconic one, man. All right, so for my third and final, I'm gonna go with, once again, it weren't really a battle or versus, but I'm gonna go with Red and Meth. Do you know what I mean? That was another good one. Same thing. I thought, why are they putting these two against each other, man? It's not a versus, it's a celebration. But it was good. I didn't like the atmosphere at all, man. Like, it was in a big setting, the concert setting, the crowd was dead. I remember right, if I remember rightly, it was that one. Crowd was dead, man, and it was too big. It just didn't feel like. I mean, obviously we know that. Was it the Barclays Centre, the Dipset one? That was a big setting, but it filled out. The atmosphere was filled out. It was good, but the Medaref one felt kind of. Did I just say Medaref? The ref.
If they put Red and Meth together versus Ghost and Ray, imagine that,
bro. That would have been insane.
No,
that's what I'm saying. Exactly. Yeah, that would have been insane. Oh, one sec. I think we've lost slack there. Wait a minute. One second, people. You're back?
Oh man, don't know what the hell happened there,
bro. Don't know what happened there, bro. But hey, we should tell the listeners though, someone didn't want this episode to happen today because the drama is having to even get up and running, man. And then you just get ghosted like that. But yeah, you're back. That's all good. But yeah, if them lot were together, that would have been insane, man. But it was good. Like, you know, the people they brought out. I loved when EPMD came out. Obviously, Scratches. It was a good concert. It was a good time. Do you know what I mean? And they're probably the concert I've been to the most, like Red and Meth concerts. They're probably the people I've seen live the most. You know what I mean? So actually, no, it was Public Enemy, but them close contenders, and their energy is unmatched, man. So yeah, that probably be my third and final shout out, man. Red and Meth, yeah.
Cool. All right, man.
Yeah.
You have three not so great.
Yeah, definitely, man. So do you want to kick us off?
Man. Now I'll be honest, a few of the ones that I would say I pretty much turned off halfway through because I was just like, this is some or wasn't really that invested or interested. The first one I would say would be Jadakiss and Fabulous.
Yeah,
I didn't understand. I did understand why they put them together. Freddie versus Jason. That made sense, kind of. But again, like Fabulous is gonna do this and that. I was like, nah. I think that guy is heavily overrated, man. Like, he's one of the overrated rappers to me. His albums are garbage to me. Like, if I'm being completely honest,
there's too many radio reaches for me. He's got bars, like he can rap, but yeah.
Like, I don't own a Fabulous album because I've bought a couple, and I ain't gonna lie, I took them back to the shop. The first album of his that I bought was his debut, Was it Ghetto Fabulous?
Ghetto Fabulous, yeah.
I think I got that on promo. This is how bad it was. I got it on promo, which means I got it for free. And I didn't keep it. Let's put it that way.
Wow, man.
The second one I
Yeah.
think was it Street Dreams or some shit like that? I can't
Street
remember.
Dreams. I thought
Was
that,
it?
yeah, Street Dreams. That's it. Because I've only got one Fabulous album in my collection, and that's Real Talk, and that's because of Breathe. That's because of Breathe.
Breathe was
I
hard.
literally bought it because of Breathe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But the rest of it
yeah,
was garbage.
yeah, yeah,
His albums to me is like a what not to do. I just,
yeah.
like people go, oh,
No.
his mixtapes. I'm like, that's cool. Like, there's plenty of people that can make fire mixtapes because guess what? You don't have to have original beats, music.
Mm.
You can make songs over whatever, and say that's my mixtape. So they're easier to make than albums to me. Like,
Yeah, true.
right for me for an MC is to make original art. That means original beats and blah blah blah. Yeah, he's got original beats on his mixtapes, but for me, when it comes to making a studio album, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
put them together, Jadakiss, and I was just like, Jadakiss is gonna kill this guy, and guess what? That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, ridiculous.
So I just tuned out, just like, man, all right, this is exactly what I expected to happen. Jadakiss just slapping the guy around.
Yeah.
What he's doing, yeah, it's just nah.
Yeah, I mean, even the Freddie and Jason album was a disappointment to me.
Yeah,
anyway.
exactly.
That was a weird matchup anyway. Yeah, that should have been.
Yeah.
There's probably two songs that are the intro and another one. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, it's a shame because Fabulous, he's got bars and his soul tapes are, I think they're brilliant. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's just, yeah, I agree. That's another one I didn't even watch all the way through. The most memorable thing about that, it was Jadakiss doing his drunk dance.
Yeah, exactly.
On the tracksuit. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I don't really, yeah. But apart from that, so yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. The one I'll probably throw out, we mentioned it earlier. It's got to be the Luda and Nelly one. Not because it was terrible, but just I felt like even in Luda's got bangers. We know that, man. I was even speaking about him on the timeline a couple of days ago. Those first two albums, Word of Mouth for me is like it doesn't put a foot wrong. Do you know what I mean? I just think it's an incredible album, man. Chicken and Beer, you know, and other stuff, his features. I feel like the only reason them two were put together is because they were big around the same time. That's about it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, right. Yeah, early noughties, isn't it? Like 2000, 2001. Sort of, you know, it was Luda, Nelly, Eminem, Jay-Z. Those are like the big names at them time. So I feel like that's the only kind of reason they were put together and geographically. But it was an odd matchup. It was a weird matchup. Nah, it felt weird, and I felt like even Luda felt like, why am I here? Do you know what I mean? Because it's just like Nelly didn't really put up much of. It was just weird, and it was frustrating for me. I think that's why I'm putting it down as one of my least favorites because I'm watching it and I'm thinking, man, do you know what I mean? This is frustrating because look at all the people. Yeah, like Luda could have, even Nelly, even someone like Nelly could have gone with someone like Drake or someone like that because he's got that whole singing, rapping, melody thing going on. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I'd have to put that down as one of my least favorites, man.
Yeah, I totally.
Which is a shame because Luda deserves better than that, man.
Totally agree. I'd have to say Rick Ross and 2 Chainz. I didn't finish that.
Right.
That's enough. That didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And I don't actually mind 2 Chainz at all. I think he's got a shit name. He's a 2 Chainz. Titty Boy was terrible.
Titty Boy. Yeah.
2 Chainz was slightly better, but again, it's not a great rapper name, is it? And I was just like, I like him. There's something about him I like. I don't know what it is. I don't really listen to his albums like that, but he's got this whole persona and character, and he can actually rap. Like I've heard him, like he's got some verses here and there. So I've got nothing against him at all as a rapper. But I was like, like Rick Ross is gonna smoke this guy, and yeah, like Rick Ross, nah, he could have been matched against someone better than that, in my opinion. Not better than that. Someone that would have been a better match, stylistic,
more suited.
I don't think 2 Chainz was it. So yeah, again, I lost interest very, very quickly and didn't bother finishing that one either. So yeah, that'll be my number 2.
I hear that. Same. I'd have to agree once again. I had that down as well. An honourable mention would probably be you know what, Babyface and Teddy Riley. Once again, some of the ones I'm saying that were least favourites, I think it's because I know what they could have been. When I love R&B, we know that, yeah. When you're talking about R&B and talking about songwriters, bro.
not even for like a little period. Like we're talking the greatest
Exactly.
all time. Like this should have been
Nah.
immense, crazy. Like,
This is what I mean. They're
like,
incredible. They are two of the best songwriters and producers in the
easy,
business. Yeah, I
easy.
remember when I was in school, and I remember not Sheep, what's it called? Waiting to Excel soundtrack dropped, and I remember thinking to myself, man, I was reading the credits, and I was thinking, 1 minute, Babyface wrote every song, and I'm thinking this is insane because he's writing from the aspect of a big grown woman in Mary. A kid in Brandy, do you know what I mean? I'm thinking like this guy's incredible. I think that's when the penny really dropped for me. That Babyface is insane. Was that Waiting to Excel album? But we know the potential, and we know Teddy Riley. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we know, man. So there was a lot of tech issues with that one. Do you know what I mean? Which played on it as well. Teddy Riley, he didn't seem like he was really in the right kind of spirit either, man. Like, do you know what I mean? It just felt like, nah, this don't feel right. Didn't come across right.
It was weird because it felt like Babyface just turned up like with his little glass of wine or whatever, just like what you got for me, kind of. And Teddy Riley had this whole studio. He had like backup, some backup or something going on, and whole studio. So he had literally come and be like, "I'm gonna give you all this," and Babyface was just like.
It was.
You know what I mean? So again, it didn't have the big matchup feel that it should have had, in my opinion.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, I'd have to say that one because I was actually excited about that one. I thought, this is going to be mad, but it weren't much, man.
I agree. My last one will be Jeezy and Gucci. I don't know, man. I thought that was a bit distasteful putting them together, like with their history.
Exactly.
I respect to them both for actually agreeing to do it. It shows how much they've grown as human beings and as
agreed.
Not
like Bone and 3-6 Mafia.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, that's another one that could have been on my list, to be honest. But again, I just don't think I didn't give Gucci a chance against Jeezy. Like Jeezy just got much bigger. Just everything about Jeezy is bigger than Gucci to me. People who literally live in Georgia or whatever would probably say Gucci Man or whatever, but nah, for me, Jeezy's singles, albums, the way he raps is it's all better than Gucci. I just didn't see how Gucci could lay a glove on him, and he didn't really. It was just too easy for Jeezy. So yeah, that was just didn't make sense to me either.
Yeah, man, I'd have to agree. That's another one I only kind of watched a little bit of. But yeah, my last one will probably be, I don't even think this was a Verzuz. I think it was a freeway one. It was it Ray J? Who else was it? Ray J.
If it's Ray J, I didn't know.
Bobby Valentino, I think. I don't know, but I only saw snippets of that one anyway, and it just weren't good. I didn't watch the whole thing at all. Correct me if I'm wrong, or anyone feel free to correct me, but I'm sure, was it Ray J was singing with his kid in his hand, or someone was, man, and he was just weren't singing well at all. I may have got it wrong, but that's the image I have of it, man. But I was like, nah, this ain't. You know what? When you look at like WCW, and it was just about to be sold to WWE, and you're watching some of the matches and some of the things that was going on, and it's like, oh man, it's embarrassing now. You don't need to just shut the doors on this. That's how it felt around that time. It was like, you don't need to just allow this now, man. Just, do you know what I mean? It's like the ship has sailed now. So it just felt like, nah, that weren't a good one. So that's another one. And like we said, there was loads that we probably could have said, but I hadn't really given them the time to really say if I liked it or not. But looking at some of the lineups, there could have been, a few more in there. But yeah, I'd probably say that as my least. So we'll wrap up and look at maybe a few of our dream ones that we would have loved to have seen if it didn't,
pretty much said them already. Like some that have happened that could have been better. Like I said, with Luda versus like a Redman or a Busta Rhymes. And you're saying Busta with Missy. Why? Like, that's a terrible matchup.
Yeah, musically, definitely.
Musically, that is bullshit. Like, the only reason people say that is because they've both got animated videos. What has that got to do with a versus? Like,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
doesn't rap anywhere close to Busta Rhymes. It just would not make sense stylistically. If they're putting video against video, okay, fine, but we're not doing
Exactly.
that.
We're not doing that. Exactly.
So are you going to put what are you going to put Hot Boys against? Like, put your hands on what eyes could see? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, that's ridiculous. So yeah, like I said, MOP versus Onyx.
Mad.
Red and Meth versus Ray and Ghost. Ludacris, Redman. Ludacris, Buster. Jeezy Ross. If you're gonna like, that should have been, that would have been a better matchup than Gucci and G. But like I said, the history, I understand why they put that together. Tribe versus De La would have been great. Native Tongues going together, and again, that would have been more of a celebration than a
definitely.
battle.
But still, would have been good to see.
Would have been amazing. Yeah, those off the top of my head, like ones like that would have been something.
Yeah, they are so good, man.
I think that's what I think Versus was missing. Like, they put styles together that just did not make sense.
Yeah, no, agreed, man. Yeah, those. I second those. I mean, a couple of the ones I wrote down that I would have liked to have seen would have been Luda and Busta. I think you mentioned that as well. Anyway, I think that would have been mad. That would have been good as well. Mariah Carey and Mary J. Blige. I personally think in the R&B setting, I don't think Mary could really be touched. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say, like, who could really talk against Mary now?
Yeah, maybe Janet. I don't know. I just think R&B wise, it would be hard to touch her. But I would love to have just seen her in a verses anyway. She could probably do 2 or 3, and then do you know what I mean? Like, literally. And I think I would love to have seen Jay and 50 as well. I think that would have been good.
Stylistically, that would have been interesting. I don't know. Yeah, that could have been interesting.
You know what I mean? I think that would have been interesting to see, man. Jay and 50. Both got bangers galore, obviously. Yeah, that whole New York. Yeah, I think that would have been good. But yeah, and a lot of the ones are not just ones that never happened, but like we said earlier, some that happened with just the wrong people, man. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know. I'd love to see Busta come out and do one. Mary J. Blige come out and do one. There's a lot of artists I'd love to see still come and do one. I mean, weren't T.I. talking about 50 for a while? Either of them have done one.
You just talked, man.
50 would have, that would have been a massacre all over again. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, nah, I gave up on that T.I. guy. He was just yapping like this guy, that guy, but he never actually stepped up. So I left it like that.
Attention seeking, man.
But yeah, man. I mean, we'll see if it comes back in any kind of capacity. But like I said, I still think that they owe Swizz and Timbo money. First of all, nothing's going to happen until they get their paper.
Yep.
Secondly, I don't know if artists are going to be interested in doing it now because people are outside. Like,
it's not exciting anymore. Yeah,
exciting anymore. There's not really going to be a build up anymore, because the whole thing was, next Friday, I'm going to be stuck in the house from Monday to Friday, so it gives me something to look forward to. Like, now everyone's outside, everyone's back at work, everyone's doing whatever. Are you really going to rush back, or not rush back, but watch it on your phone or whatever? Are you really going to tune in like people would have been if we were still, locked down?
Yeah.
So I think there's just a few too many factors to keep it where it is, basically.
Yeah.
So I think now it's
agree.
Just that mythical thing. It's just that word, that whole versus. Oh, this person would win a versus. All right, cool, but it's not going to happen anymore. Like, the
culture's keeping it alive more than the actual event itself. Yeah, bro. Let me ask you this before we wrap up. Actually, it's just a quiz. It's just a little joke thing, isn't it? Who do you think, right? As I looked it up and I was actually shocked. But who do you think has got the highest amount of views on Versus? Which battle do you think was watched the most?
Oh shit!
With 1.2 million live viewers.
Is it one that we've mentioned?
No, not at all. I give you a clue. It's not hip hop.
Yeah, I didn't think it would be hip hop. that's why I'm trying to think. Which kind of R&B ones happened apart from the Erica and Jill. I don't know. It's probably one I didn't bother watching, to be honest.
Brandy and Monica.
Yeah, I didn't bother.
I was thinking, wow, man, I didn't think that the highest amount. They said that another one reportedly was Teddy Riley and Babyface because it's 3.7 million views, but it was staggered. But they say the longest, like, consistently locked in with 1.2 million was Brandy and Monica, man.
That's a surprise.
That's surprising for me. But
that's a surprise.
Yeah,
I don't know. I loved Monica's first album a lot. I think that was really good. I love Brandy's first album too, and her second one was good too. Monica's second, I think that was bigger than her first, but I didn't like it as much musically. And then I kind of didn't bother after that, to be honest, with either of them. So, yeah, I wasn't interested in seeing them battle. But again, I understand why. They had a history in it over that whole boys.
I think that's what I was going to say. That's probably one of the things, right? You know, people are bad mind, innit? They open something, kick off, innit?
Because even when they were thinking about about putting it together, I was like, oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Went down that road.
Exactly. Well, yeah, that was surprising to me, man. But yeah, like you said, man, hopefully it will make a comeback. Don't know if it will, but it's a shame because just the way the culture is still talking about it, still referencing it, we know how much of an impact it should have had. So hats off to Swiss and Timbo, though, man. They organically kicked off something that was great for the culture, man. Because here we are, 3 years later, people still talking about it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, man. I think things will need to be done differently for it to thrive and for it to work. They need to create something that'll get people's attention again, because you're gonna have to start from scratch.
Yeah.
Because we've seen it now, so it's like, all right,
exactly.
So you're gonna have to make it intriguing where people are gonna be like, oh, I have to see this. So you're gonna have to put together things where people really want to see these battles happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe not even call them a battle. Maybe just put them on the shows or something.
Yeah.
But it can still work. Yeah, it can still work, but I don't know how much interest I'll have. Like, they'll have to think of something. But I don't know what that'll be. But that's not my job to pay me to do that. So, but yeah, man. Any suggestions in the comments, more than welcome, as always. And if it does come back, then we can revisit this episode as well at some point. But yeah, man, that was good to revisit, go back down memory lane a little bit. Thankfully, we're kind of coming out of that whole lockdown and pandemic and all that kind of stuff now, so we can actually look back on it in a positive way. So that is a good thing. So thank you once again for joining us. Much appreciated as always. Every click, every view, every share, really appreciate. So we're not in it for the clicks. We're just in it to celebrate the culture that we love and embrace. So much love for rocking with us as always, man. Much appreciation. So from me and my co-host, co-pilot, E Major in the building.
Yes. Love as always, man. Appreciate you being with us. Until next week, keep it hype. Stay blessed. Stay well. Peace.
Peace, man. See you next week, guys.